Hello and welcome to Absolute India News. I am Akriti Bagla, and today on Absolute India News, I have with me an actor who, ever since his debut in the industry, has proved that he is truly a champion. Yes, I'm talking about Rahul Dev. Rahul sir, hi, hello, and welcome to Absolute India News.
Thanks for having me, Akriti. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good also.
So first of all, how excited are you for Anamika? And can you tell us a bit about your character?
So I'm looking quite forward to it. In fact, it's my first collaboration with MX Play. So that's the other reason I'm looking really forward to it. I'm hoping and praying that they do a sequel, which Vikram had said that they would. Also, I'm very excited because it's another time that I'm collaborating with both the director Vikram Bhatt and your lead actor of the show, Sunny. So it's the fifth collaboration with Vikram Bhai and is the third with Sunny. So all in all, it's sort of a happy picture. In terms of the character, Srivastav is the head of the government agency, and he's also Anamika's boss. So he is the one who's sort of trained her, and more than that, I will not be able to share because for that they'll have to watch the show and tune in exactly what Srivastav does. Which side does he work on? Whether he's on the side of Sunny, whether he's on another side, whether he's got a mind of his own, all of that. But I think he's got a mind of his own. He's quite independent of everybody. So that's what I liked about the role. So it's a very strong part where he thinks. It's a thinking person who sort of plays a mastermind. Let's put it this way.
While portraying or while getting into the skin of this character, what more or what did you learn that government officials kind of go through this pressure, that pressure? What more did you got to know about them through this
About the government
character?
officials?
Yeah.
Frankly, it was instinctively done. When I'll not mislead you by saying कि ऐसा वो किया, ये किया, फलाना किया. Because also it is a government agency, but there's a sense of ambiguity. So it's not the CBI, it's not the police services. We've called it government agency. All right. So there's a sense of ambiguity within the agency itself. कि कौन सी government की agency है भैया ये? So there's a sense of ambiguity in that, defining that. So I got away with that because they were very clear. The channel was very clear that they don't want, because आजकल people get offended if you say a certain term.
Yeah.
We saw shows in the back problem में आ गए. So they didn't want any controversy, which is wise enough. And in terms of what he said, that what a person does, I watched my father go to work every day. He's one of the most celebrated cops India's had. He is the winner of 2 gallantry awards from 2 different presidents at the 26th of January. So when I'm saying that, I'm not just saying he celebrated cop, genuinely he was. He was like a living legend when he was there. He was also responsible for cracking the first bank scam, the largest one till date, where the criminal had sort of withdrawn X amount of money in the voice of the Prime Minister from the largest bank in India. It's called the Nagarwala case. My father had cracked it. It's a 1971 case. So the person called Rahul Dev in that is my father. So you watched a person at home very, very closely every day. So abhi uske upar kya main, and that to a legendary person. So it's like, you don't know that time that he'll be a legend, but as things turned out that he was. He also trained Miss Vedi, the first police cop who was a woman, the country had. So things like that.
And Rahul sir, with this, I would like to ask you a question. Like, since the advent of OTT, since the last 3 years, we have seen you constantly working in one medium or the other, be it films, be it series. With every character of yours, there is a certain kind of freshness. So, how do you keep that alive?
One, I think I'm lucky with good directors. Like for example, with Vikram, I'm very very comfortable. I have total faith in him because he gave me my first comedy, Avara Pagal Devana, way back like 2001 or something. And then Footpath, then for which I got awards. In fact, Subhash Chandraji given me the award in England, I remember. I met Shavana ji and Javed Saab on stage first time. Then um, Shapit, which didn't work for either of us. Then there was, he wrote Bardash for us. Inivasa directed it with Bobby as the main lead. There was Ritesh too in that film. And then now this. So
Yeah.
with every project, your sense of faith only increases, in the person who's directing you. So one, that too also he gives me a sense of freedom.
Yeah.
Like वो श्रीवास्तव जैसा था, वो थोड़ा इंटरप्रेट मैंने थोड़ा अलग भी किया. Like if the line had to be spoken in a certain way, थोड़ा ये कुछ ऐड किया या कुछ नहीं बोला, वो he gave me that freedom. So that way he's very very giving as a director. So मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि कुछ और ही कर दिया, ये नहीं मैं बोल रहा हूँ. उसी दायरे के अंदर वो जो था दायरा जिसमें श्रीवास्तव को लिखा गया था, उसको ही इंटरप्रेट करने का एक वो उन्होंने मुझे he gave me the his consent, so to say, like he was creatively he gave me that leverage to sort of interpret it in my way. So उस वजह से भी, so I think वो वजह है, like even whether it was my last association was the Empire with Nikhil Advani and Mitaksha ji.
Yeah.
Both of them first time I was working with, but I think we've left the project with great amount of healthy respect for each other. In
Yeah.
fact, I'm doing something else now for Nikhil for Amazon, with somebody else is directing, but Nikhil Saab is producing it. So, so it's, you feel a sense of gratefulness towards, somebody who's loved your work and then they've repeated you again. So each time a person repeats you, know that you've been fair to the product. Every repetition means that the other person was happy with. It's a way of acknowledging कि यार आपने काम ठीक किया है, you want to work again with it, for example. So I've been lucky in that sense कि उस टाइम पे हो जाता है ऐसा समझ.
And Rahul, so since it's been like 20 years, more than 20 years to you in the industry, how have you seen this industry evolving, be it content wise? And like you only told, you have your own inputs when it comes to script, when it comes to portraying the character.
No,
How
not
important?
always, not always. I'll correct you there. See, sometimes you can do that. It depends on totally on how the director wants it. See, the medium is the
Yeah,
director's medium. I'm very clear in my head about that.
yeah,
It's not my medium at all. It's his medium. But within what he gives you to do, you can request him whether this might work, that might work, or whether you can interpret it this way or that way. Final call will be his only or hers, whoever your director is.
so as an actor, how important do you think it is, for creative liberty is important? What's your take on the creative liberty?
See, as an actor, if you honestly ask me, I feel first thing is trust. A sense of trust builds along as you proceed in a project or as you proceed in a working relationship. You have a sense of trust in the person who's directing you, one. And then within that trust, what happens is mutual trust develops. And then within that, then liberties develop. Creatively, थोड़ा कुछ ऐसे कर लूं, वैसे कर लूं. Within the उस दायरे में रह के, मतलब कि वो किरदार खो जाना नहीं चाहिए, कहानी नहीं खो जानी चाहिए, कहानी आगे ही रहनी चाहिए हमेशा. और उसके
Yeah.
विदिन क्या हो सकता है किरदार के साथ, विदिन द स्टोरी एंड द कंस्ट्रेंट ऑफ द स्टोरी, व्हाट यू कैन डू विद द कैरेक्टर is what makes it little special.
And Rahul, so like I asked you, what do you think about the content these days that audience are
Oh,
seeing?
it's become so much better. My God, some really good writing is happening, and um, the viewer, I feel, full marks to the person who's responsible, who's watching that. We see the shows like, say, my personal favorite was Patal Lok, or say
Yeah.
Cam, or everyone's favorites. So same shows, but they brought in a sense of freshness. Rocket Boys, I
Yeah.
love that show. Um so all of those kind of, when you see what is happening around you, uh, everyone is pushing their creativity further. And all that is happening collaboratively too. That whole thing of, constraints of restrictions that, ये आपका hero होगा, ये आपका villain होगा, that is being broken. Good guys are playing bad guys and bad guys are playing good guys. So it's so that images are being sort of, and it's all thanks to a very open audience, receptive audience, because eventually it's all dictated by them, isn't it? So I think the audiences have evolved. The world's become smaller. Google came in, the platforms came in. You were exposed to all kinds of films: Korean, Chinese, Indian, different languages of Indian films. Malayalam films, which I really admire. Overseas, you could watch other kind of content. European cinema. Of course, English was always there. Hindi was always there. So within all of that, whatever the evolution gradually is happening, it's a really exciting time, I think. For anybody who's creative, these are really good times.
And Rahul sir, like you told, the good are playing the bad are playing the good, the hero villain ka, segregation. I want to ask you on this note, there was a time where you played antagonist. You were like doing those villainous roles. So you think you were typecasted?
Yeah, of course I was typecasted, because that time was in such a way that, the Friday mattered. See, also try and understand, a lot of the new generation is not used to a Friday. I'm not saying the generation till, say, a Vicky or a Rajkumar Rao or Ayushman. These are really creative, fab actors. I'm saying some of the newer OTT actors, for example, they have not really seen a Friday. So I'm not saying they're not great actors. They're fab actors, some really creative actors. But Friday के साथ क्या होता है कि एक ऑडियंस का एक्सेप्टेंस होता है. ऑडियंस जब वो जाती है ना टिकट देखने के लिए, वो कई बार एक अच्छे एक्ट को भी रिजेक्ट कर देते हैं. क्यों करती है मुझे नहीं पता. Like, films like in the past which were called art films. Some of the art films, if you watch, are fab films, yeah. But उनका बॉक्स ऑफिस कलेक्शन नहीं. Are you getting it ना? तभी वो टाइम पे क्या होता था कि एक चीज आई, वो कॉमेडी में चल गई, तो उसको कॉमेडी 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 मिलने लगी. एक चीज आई, एक नेगेटिव रोल में चल गई, और फिर उसको नेगेटिव रोल्स मिलने लगे, क्योंकि वो एक्सपेरिमेंट नहीं करता था. प्रोड्यूसर को लगता था यार पैसे लग रहे हैं एक प्रोडक्ट में, एंड ही वाज राइट आल्सो ना. वो बेचारे का पैसा लगा, अगर किसी का who is paying for everybody, it's difficult for them to take a risk. अभी OTT के आने से क्या हो गया कि the risks have come down. The risk becomes the channels. Are you getting it? The whole business model has changed a little bit. It's changed. I mean, the deciding factor would be probably the critics, and finally, how many people saw a certain show. What was the pull of a certain show in a certain time? बट पहले ऐसा नहीं था ना. पहले ये था कि भाई फ्राइडे को आया, फ्राइडे का कलेक्शन क्या है, सैटरडे का कलेक्शन क्या है. वो अभी भी है ना, थिएटर्स में जो फिल्में आती हैं, तो कैसा होता है. कई बार अच्छी फिल्में भी नहीं चलती. मुझे याद है एक बहुत अच्छी फिल्म थी. It did very, very well each time it came on television. And the legendary Rajkumar Santoshi directed it. The film had two superstars. It had Salman Khan and Anna Namir Khan. एंड वो पिक्चर उस टाइम पे इट्स लाइक आचीज. मेरी फ्रेंड है प्रीति सिन्हा, उनके फादर ने प्रोड्यूस करी थी, बेनेश सिन्हा ने. ये
अंदाज अपना अपना.
See now how good the film is. It's a fab
film. Yeah.
चली नहीं थी उस टाइम.
What about your upcoming projects and your message for your fans?
Upcoming project, I mean, of course, so I mean, I really want them to watch Anamika on MX Play on the 10th. Please tune in, guys, and give it all your love. Sunny Leone is in an avatar like never seen before, and my dear friend Vikram Bhatt has really surpassed himself. Yours sincerely has also contributed in a nice way to the project. I mean, I really hope all of you all like it. And of course, other than that, there will be a whole lot of other projects. They're part of 3 feature films, I'm part of 3 films, and some other OTT sort of series, a couple of them, one on air, and so we'll talk about it as and when they come.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Follow our channel Absolute India News on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and website.